Just a day after 104 Indians were deported by the United States for illegal immigration, Foreign Secretary Misri today said that India has raised concerns with the US over the treatment meted out to the illegal Indian immigrants. In fact, the opposition raised a huge hue and cry around the handcuffs and the chains in which these people were seen being brought back to India. Mr. Misri, the Foreign Secretary, also said that there is no record of any government protesting deportation of Indians in shackles. From the time it started in 2012, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement in the United States, ICE, which is the body that looks after sending back illegal immigrants, changed its policies and said that people will be sent back with restraints starting from 2012. And today the Foreign Secretary clarified that no government, whether UPA or NDA, had protested against this rule change by ICE. The deportees who had entered the United States unlawfully were shackled, they were handcuffed during that journey on board a US military C-17 plane before they arrived in Amritsar on Wednesday. CNN News 18, in fact, spoke to the families of these deportees who went to the US through what is called the Dunkey route. They also shed light on how ghost travel agents who sometimes charge 40 lakhs and 50 lakhs, even up to ₹1 crore to take these people through dense jungles, through waterways, through rivers and lakes and crossing the oceans to take them to the United States, how they have been duped of their life savings. Listen in to some of these stories.
ठीक है भाई, डोंकी रूट से गया था, पैसे कमाने के लिए गया था। यहाँ तो अपना कोई रोजगार नहीं है, सरकार अपने कोई नौकरी नहीं देती, तो इस चक्कर में गए थे अमेरिका।
कितना पैसा लग गया
भाई? मेरे 40-45 लाख रुपये लग गए। रेंज भाई बस कोई रिश्तेदार में कोई यार दोस्त बैठाए थे ब्याज पे, देखो भी कह रहा है कहाँ के देने हैं।
जाने में कितना टाइम लगा? क्या प्रोसेस था आपका जाने में?
भाई जाने में मैंने 7 महीने लग गए। मेरे तय बोलिया था एजेंट ने भाई 45 दिन में पंचायत जमा करती, 7 महीने लग गए। मैंने बीच में जाके भी गया भाई, मैंने वापसी बुला ली, नहीं सुनी। बोले कोई टेंशन नहीं, पहुँच जाएगा, बग जाएगा, कोई दिक्कत नहीं तेने। तो भाई वही बात है, पेमेंट का चक्कर हुआ है, पेमेंट का चक्कर में बिठा ले बंदा ने, फिर भी ठीक लग गया है। तो 29 कुछ कराया को नहीं, दूसरे पेमेंट का चक्कर में एजेंट का डोंकर का वापस करो रहा था, बिठा कर रखे 45 दिन मैक्सिको सिटी रखे, 1.5 महीना निकोपली बिठा कर रखे। बात करी थी मैंने 40 लाख रुपये में बात हुई थी मेरी, ने बोलिया भाई ऊपर वाली गेम में भेजूंगा, जाकर आगे मुकर के भाई तरली गेम चल रही है, ऊपरली चल रही नहीं, तरली में काट दे भाई पनामा जंगल में। वो
हमारे 65 लाख रुपए करीब में तो इसका खर्चा आया है, जो एजेंट को दिया है हमने। ये एजेंट ने बोला था भाई ऊपर की गेम है, फिर बाद में इसे 8-9 महीने लगा दिए जंगल में, 4-5 दिन जंगल में चले पनामा गेम में। और सर 6 लाख रुपये इसते दे रखे हैं, जो मैले $डॉलर दिए थे इसको, और उसके फ़ोन में भी रिचार्ज, गूगल पे में भी डाले हैं। कपड़े थे इसके पनामा जंगल में सारे बह गए थे, तो फिर वहाँ से मैक्सिको सिटी से इसके कपड़े मैंने धोवाए हैं बल्कि 40-50 हज़ार रुपये डाल के। तो कहने मतलब ये सर, ये 26 तारीख को कूद दिया था और आज हमें 9 दिन सारे हो गए थे इसको, ये कल ही पता लग गया बस हमको, तो भाई ऐसे करके बात हो गई।
अगर आपको उसने कुछ बात बताई हो, क्या मतलब रास्ता क्या था, कहाँ से क्या गए?
ये सर यहाँ से दिल्ली से मुंबई से ये गए थे सर सूरीनेम से, फिर ये बदले यहाँ तक तो बाई फ्लाइट गए थे। उसके बाद सर ये डोंकर, ये गाड़ी वाला काम चले गया था इनका, गाड़ी में चले 8-8 दिन, फिर कैंटर में चले, फिर ये पनामा सिटी में पहले से पूछने से पहले फिर ये इन्होंने जंगल पार कराया, 4 दिन चले जंगल में को चलने के बाद सर ये फिर आगे इनका डोंकर मिला, सेटिंग होती है जिनकी। तो हमें तो पता था भाई हमारा तो जाकर तो ऊपर न जा रहा जीव, हमें तो जीव पता लगा जब ये पनामा जंगल पार करे, इन्हें वीडियो कॉल करके हमारे से दिखा, इसके पैर भी गड़ रहे थे। ये जो 4-5 लड़के थे बोले भाई हम तो जंगल चलवाया इन्हें, पनामा जंगल, और कोई प्रॉपर गेम कुछ नहीं थी, फ्रॉड करे इन्हें हमारे साथ। मगर चल भाई देखेंगे, बात करेंगे। तो फिर हमने उससे बात भी करी एजेंट से भी, एजेंट बोले कि भाई कोई बात नहीं, चलो सुख शांति से पार भी हो गया जंगल, अरे तो अगर फ्लाइट का ही काम है, कोई दिक्कत वाली बात है। फिर भी 8-9 महीने लगा दिए जी इन्हें।
एजेंट था जी।
एजेंट कितने पैसे देके?
41 लाख रुपए दिए।
41 ਲੱਖ ਰੁਪਏ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ, ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਕਿਹਾ ਗਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਏਜੰਟ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਦੀਪਕ ਨੂੰ?
बस जी भी महीने के अंदर पहुंचा देंगे।
ਅੱਛਾ ठीक है। ਤੇ ਜੌਬ ਜੂਬ ਬਾਰੇ ਵੀ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਨੌਕਰੀ ਵਗੈਰਾ?
नहीं जी वो कुछ नहीं कहा जी।
ਅੱਛਾ, ਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀ ਹੋਈ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਪਹੁੰਚਾਵਾਂਗੇ? ਇਹ ਵੀ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਲੀਗਲੀ ਪਹੁੰਚਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਜਾਂ ਡੋਂਕੀ?
बस लीगली पहुंचावांगे जी, स्टैंप लगवाया कभी पासपोर्ट पर।
ਅੱਛਾ
हाँ जी
ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਵੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਲੀਗਲੀ ਹੈ ਇਲੀਗਲੀ ਇਹ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਰਵਾਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਇਹ ਏਜੰਟ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਦਾ ਹੈ? ਮੋਹਾਲੀ ਜ਼ਿਲ੍ਹੇ ਦਾ ਜਾਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਦਾ ਹੈ?
बाहरों का है जी
ਹਾਂਜੀ
बाहर का है जी
ਬਾਹਰ ਦਾ ਹੈ
हाँ जी
ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਦੀਪਕ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਕੋਈ ਰਿਲੇਟਿਵ ਗਿਆ ਜਾਂ ਇਕੱਲਾ
ना
ਦੀਪਕ
जी
ਗਿਆ ਸੀ?
हम नहीं किसी और ਨੂੰ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਜੀ
ਅੱਛਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ
हाँ जी कोई और भेजो मन क्या पता एजेंट का जी
All right, so how does India deal with this problem of illegal immigrants who are now being brought back in military planes from the United States? Joining me now is former Foreign Secretary to the Government of India, Mr. Shashank. Thank you very much, sir, for speaking with us. So over 100 illegal immigrants who are brought back in the C-17 military transport aircraft to Amritsar. The opposition has made this into a big issue, saying, you know, there's inhumane treatment, they're being chained, handcuffed, not allowed to use the bathroom, etc. How would you respond to that? Do they have a valid criticism? Because the External Affairs Minister yesterday in the Parliament said this has been the standard procedure since 2012 at least.
Well, that has been said, and that is correct. Point is that for future, perhaps we should try to work out with the American government as to how we can improve the methodology. Of course, there are illegals there, and therefore the Americans want them to come out. So they will be given some kind of either deportation order by some judges or some administrative officers, or the two governments would agree that India will try to take back the identified people who are confirmed as Indian citizens. So I think this is what will happen, and because they are supposed to be more than that, perhaps the American government has identified a few thousand of them as illegals who are due to be deported. So therefore, it's much better to go with a more methodical approach rather than in a hurry, putting them in a military plane and send them. Because maybe for 3-4 hours, 5 hours, it can perhaps be considered as a requirement of immediate concern. But when you're sending somebody for 20 hours or 24 hours, so therefore one has to take into account that over a long period of time, it becomes a rather difficult subject. Even your own people would not like it. So I'm quite sure that there would be people in the United States, in the administration also, who would say that this is really not the most effective method of dealing with the people who had done no criminal activity, but who became illegals. Because I think they wanted to come very much to America, and America had always welcomed the migrants. So therefore, they just took it for granted, whether many of them are simple people, and they are willing to work hard. And therefore, they thought that this was the land of opportunity, and they should go there. And I think the unscrupulous recruiting agents or travel agents, etc., they took advantage of this. And I'm quite sure that many of them must have become millionaires by now in various countries, not only in India, but there are intermediaries in other places also who must have made a quick buck by the difficulties which are faced by our poor citizens.
But sir, given that immigration and, as he puts it, illegal immigration, illegal aliens coming into America, ripping America off, is such a huge issue for Mr. Trump. He certainly believes that that's one of the biggest issues he won the election on. So he's sending people back to Colombia, to Guatemala, to Mexico, and of course to India. How does the Prime Minister navigate this issue when he meets President Trump next week? That look, A, like you said, that there has to be a more humane way to do this, and B, also the sheer numbers. There are, according to some estimates, 17,000 odd illegal Indian immigrants who are awaiting their final orders. And a Pew Research study in 2022 said there are more than 700,000 of them. That's a huge number.
The point is that while in principle America does not want illegal people to come and work in America, at the same time, when they say be American, buy American, so therefore they need to have a lot of local production, which perhaps is not acceptable to many of the Americans who would not like to do those kind of jobs which these illegal people are doing. And the charges would be so high that perhaps people might prefer in that case to import things from China rather than buy things made in America if they're so expensive. Because if you see that these illegals, as I read in the newspapers, perhaps were getting about $8 or $10 per hour, whereas the normal American wages would be somewhere around the range of $40 to $50 per hour. So I think you can see what will be the impact on the final production. Second point is, I think as President Trump's party has taken it as a political issue.
Yeah.
They say that the Democrats had been welcoming these illegal migrants in order to provide cheap labor, and in fact were even encouraging them to vote in the election in favor of the Democratic candidates. So therefore, it has become a very major issue for the domestic political scene. And President Trump, I think, wanted to make a signal. It's not a signal to so much to our prime minister or our parliament, as much as to their own opponents in America.
All right. Ambassador Shashank, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for your time, your thoughts and perspective. We'll also be in touch with you in the run-up to the Prime Minister's visit to Washington next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.